Clean energy and AI are generating a lot of buzz these days. OKO, a nuclear energy company, is seeing some pretty big stock surges. What do you think is driving this, and what could it mean for the future of energy?
I think Oklo's focus on these modular nuclear reactors that are built for data centers is really grabbing people's attention, especially with the energy demands of data centers on the rise. They've managed to lock in some impressive power agreements, too.
Oh, well, like what?
Well, there's the 12-gigawatt deal they snagged with Switch and another one for 750 megawatts with some other data center providers. It seems like they're really strategically positioning themselves in the AI market.
It definitely sounds like they're tapping into a need with all these data centers and AI applications popping up. Why are data centers so important for Oklo's technology?
Data centers, especially the ones handling all this AI stuff, need an incredible amount of power. And it just keeps growing. Traditional energy sources are struggling to keep up in a sustainable way. Oklo's compact reactors offer a more localized and adaptable solution, providing a reliable power supply right where it's needed while reducing those transmission losses and that environmental impact.
It's interesting that Oklo seems to be in a good financial spot with $288.5 million in liquidity and a controlled cash burn rate, especially for a company that isn't generating revenue yet. How does this financial stability impact their growth?
It gives them some breathing room to navigate the regulatory hurdles and focus on pushing their technology forward without the immediate pressure of needing to bring in money. Investors see that stability and the long-term potential of Oklo's approach.
And their stock has jumped over 40% recently. So beyond just being financially stable, what else has contributed to this growth?
They've hit some big regulatory milestones with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, NRC. I think this has really helped boost investor confidence by showing that they're making real progress toward actually getting their tech out there in the world.
It sounds like their partnerships are playing a big role too. How are those collaborations helping them grow?
Absolutely. By teaming up with some big names in energy and tech, Oklo is gaining access to expertise, resources, and all those established networks. These partnerships add credibility and help them get into the market faster, which is only making investors more excited.
These compact, advanced reactors of theirs are a pretty big departure from what we're used to with nuclear energy. What are the key differences and advantages compared to traditional reactors?
The main thing is they're much smaller. That makes them cheaper to deploy and much easier to scale up or down as needed. This design lets them go places where traditional reactors just wouldn't make sense, opening up all these new possibilities for nuclear energy and addressing a wider range of energy needs.
Oklo's approach to clean energy definitely seems promising. But for anyone thinking about investing, what are the biggest risks they need to be aware of?
Even with all the progress they've made, the regulatory landscape is still complex and demanding. Getting final approvals and licenses for nuclear tech takes a long time, which could impact Oklo's timeline. They're also up against some stiff competition from other companies developing advanced nuclear technologies like TerraPower and NuScale Power, which could make it harder for them to grab market share.
And building these nuclear power systems always requires a massive investment, right? How does that financial need impact Oklo's growth and potential returns for investors?
They will absolutely need continued access to a significant amount of funding to get to commercialization and scale up their operations. Because they're so reliant on outside funding, there's a possibility of stock dilution, which could impact investor returns in the short term. It's crucial for potential investors to really understand Oklo's long-term financial strategy. Their innovative approach is really tackling this growing global demand for energy and the whole push to reduce carbon emissions. It fits in perfectly with all those sustainability goals we keep hearing about from governments and companies.
Do you think Oklo's technology could actually disrupt the traditional nuclear industry?
I think so. The reactor designs are compact, easy to transport, and offer some real advantages over those massive conventional reactors. They're cheaper to build, easier to maintain, and they can be scaled up or down much more easily. This could really change the nuclear energy game, making it more accessible and adaptable to all sorts of locations and energy needs.
So, Oklo's success seems pretty tied to how well the clean energy sector as a whole performs. What makes their approach different from other clean energy solutions like solar and wind power?
Unlike solar and wind, which can be a bit unpredictable because they depend on the weather, Oklo provides a reliable and consistent source of energy. Nuclear power can act as a stable baseload power source to keep the energy grid humming along without interruption. And their technology addresses those concerns about nuclear waste by using a different type of fuel and generating much less waste than traditional reactors.
Can you tell me more about this different fuel source and how it helps reduce waste?
They use a different type of fuel and a different reactor design that results in much less waste compared to conventional reactors. This tackles a major concern about nuclear power and makes Oklo a more environmentally responsible option.
There are always safety concerns around nuclear energy. How does Oklo Oklo address those to make sure their operations are safe?
Safety is a top priority in Oklo's reactor designs. The smaller size and modular setup already minimizes the risks you see with those huge reactors. Plus, they incorporate passive safety systems which rely on natural forces like gravity and convection to shut the reactor down in an emergency. This means less reliance on human intervention and active safety systems, leading to much safer overall protocols.
What's Oklo's long-term vision? Where do they see themselves fitting into the future of energy?
They envision a future where their reactors are all over the world, providing clean, dependable energy to a wide variety of customers. Their focus on those data centers and AI applications shows they're aligned with the growing energy demands of the tech sector. I think they aim to be a key player in the shift toward a sustainable energy future, offering a scalable and carbon-free alternative to those old fossil fuels.
They've certainly seen some remarkable growth with lots of technological innovation and strategic partnerships. What are the biggest obstacles they face as they try to reach their goals?
The regulatory approval process for nuclear technology is a big one. It's a long and complex road. Even though they've made some progress with the NRC, navigating these regulations is still a major challenge. They're also facing competition from other companies developing advanced nuclear technologies, which could put a dent in their market share. And because the nuclear energy industry is so capital intensive, they need constant access to a lot of funding, which could mean stock dilution or delays in profitability. These are definitely factors potential investors need to think about.
Despite these challenges, there's a lot of optimism surrounding Oklo. What developments have really got investors excited?
Those recent milestones with the NRC are a big deal. It shows they're getting closer to commercialization. Their strategic partnerships with established energy companies are also generating buzz because it gives them access to resources and expertise. And the global push for clean energy solutions is creating a very favorable market environment for companies like Oklo, which is further fueling investor confidence.
For those investors trying to gauge Oklo's financial performance, what key metrics should they be looking at?
It's important to watch their cash burn rate, which shows how quickly they're going through their funds. They also need to make progress in securing more funding through partnerships and investments. As a pre-revenue company, the metrics around their path to commercialization, like regulatory approvals and technological advancements, are really important indicators of their future profitability.
Understanding the competition is always key for investment decisions. Can you talk a bit more about the competitive landscape in the advanced nuclear technology sector and what sets Oklo apart?
Oklo has some tough competition from companies like TerraPower, which Bill Gates is backing, and Nuscale Power. These companies are also working on small modular reactors, each with their own designs and features. Oklo stands out with their specific reactor design, the fuel type they use, and their focus on data centers and AI applications. They're really targeting a niche market with huge growth potential.
Government policies and regulations can really make or break an industry like this. What's the current regulatory landscape, and how is it impacting the development and deployment of these technologies?
Government policies and regulations have a huge influence on the development and deployment of advanced nuclear technologies. Policies that support the industry, like tax incentives, research grants, and streamlined licensing processes, can really speed things up. On the other hand, strict regulations or unfavorable policies can create huge barriers and slow everything down.
The global landscape for nuclear energy is always changing, with different levels of acceptance and adoption in different countries. How does this global context affect Oklo's growth prospects and their plans for international expansion?
It's a mixed bag for Oklo. Some countries are becoming more open to nuclear power as a clean energy solution, while others are moving away from it. To expand their market and succeed globally, Oklo will need to navigate these different regulatory environments and build strong international partnerships.
Oklo seems to be at the forefront of a potential energy revolution with their innovative tech and ambitious vision. What key developments should investors and industry watchers be keeping an eye on in the coming years to understand Oklo's progress and impact on the energy sector?
The biggest thing to watch is whether they get that final regulatory approval from the NRC for their reactor design. Successfully deploying and operating their first commercial reactor will be a huge milestone. It will prove that their technology is viable and scalable. Also, look for advancements in their technology, new strategic partnerships, and growth in their customer base. These are all key indicators of their trajectory and long-term potential in this rapidly evolving energy landscape.
Oklo's success could have major implications for the energy energy sector and global efforts to fight climate change. What broader impacts could their technology have on reducing carbon emissions, meeting growing energy demands, and creating a more sustainable energy future?
If OKO succeeds, it could really open the door for widespread adoption of advanced nuclear technologies as a viable and sustainable clean energy solution. This could have a significant impact on reducing global carbon emissions and meeting the world's ever-increasing energy needs. Their reactors are scalable and transportable, which means they could be deployed in remote areas and developing countries, giving more people access to clean and reliable energy.
If OKO is successful, how could that change the conversation around using nuclear power for a sustainable energy future?
Well, if they can prove that these advanced reactor designs are safe and effective, it could really shift public perception of nuclear energy. People might start to see it as a clean and dependable option, and that could lead to wider acceptance of nuclear power as part of a more diverse and resilient energy mix.
Are there any new technological advancements on the horizon for OKO? And how could those advancements give them an even bigger edge in the clean energy market?
They're definitely not standing still. They're exploring ways to make their fuel more efficient, improve waste management, and create even better reactor designs. I think we could see reactors that are even smaller, more affordable, and inherently safer. Those kinds of advancements would really cement their position as a leader in this next generation of nuclear technology.
Artificial intelligence seems to be playing a bigger and bigger role in the energy sector. How is OKO using AI to optimize their operations and make their energy solutions even more efficient?
AI is a big part of their strategy. They're using it for things like predictive maintenance, making sure those reactors are running at peak performance, and even managing the grid more effectively. These AI-driven solutions make their operations more efficient, improve safety protocols, and contribute to a smarter, more responsive energy infrastructure.
Taking a long-term view, what trends in the energy sector could impact OKO's growth and success over the next few decades?
There are a few big things to watch. We're seeing more and more electric vehicles on the road, a growing demand for energy storage solutions, and the continued development of smart grid technologies. All of these trends will affect OKO's future prospects. Their ability to adapt to these changes and integrate their solutions into a rapidly evolving energy landscape will be key for their sustained growth and long-term success.
OKO's journey is an inspiring example of innovation, ambition, and the potential of advanced technologies to solve some of the world's biggest challenges. Their commitment to clean energy, their strategic focus on meeting the energy needs of AI, and their unwavering pursuit of a sustainable future make them a force to be reckoned with in the clean energy revolution. Until next time, goodbye.